Hello and welcome to the Eldritch Podblast. I am Mags.
I am Jack.
And we are Dungeons & Dragons social commentary pod channel
Where
we focus on the social aspects of D&D.
We give out advice to players and dungeon masters, old and new.
But most importantly, we believe in creating a safe, inclusive, and welcome space.
So if that sounds good to you, welcome in.
Come on in. Hi.
Welcome in.
Welcome back to episode 2 of
this.
Having a good time together.
Welcome back to episode 2 of us looking at the camera.
Yeah. How do you feel about this absolutely intense eye contact? Like, if you come to stream, you're probably even then. I would say on stream we don't make as much contact with
aliens.
With aliens.
Yeah.
I want to believe.
You don't believe already? You don't already believe?
Well, who knows? But yeah, I feel like even on stream you don't get this much eye contact. Yeah, this is a prolonged dose of eye contact.
Yeah, which I know that a lot of people in our community
really like.
Really love. I need something to fiddle with, so I'm going to get this compass.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hello, hi. Thank you so much to everyone who welcomed us back with open arms. The burnout's gone, baby.
Yeah,
Burnout's
is gone.
over. Burnout's over. We're feeling great, feeling funky, feeling fresh.
Burnout season is over.
Yeah, it is over. It is now whatever this is season. It's hey, whatever season. How about that?
Yeah, Pog season.
Yeah, or Epic Poggers season.
Epic Poggers.
Nice.
This is not Epic Poggers.
This is not Epic
Poggers.
But yes, thank you so much to everyone who showed love on, first of all, the channel update video, the first video of kind of these kinds coming out. Very, very, very much appreciated. Again, we're still finding our footing with doing this new format, and it will probably change as we go. But thank you so much to everyone who, first of all, I know I said this last time, but who was so patient with us taking a break.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It really means a lot. It really means a lot to know that if we ever just need to take a week off or take 2 weeks off, that we can. And you'll all still be here and you haven't all run away.
Totally. And in hindsight, gosh, we really did need that break.
Yeah, I think we really did. I think we really did need that break.
Really
I feel just rejuvenated coming back.
Same. I do too. I feel rejuvenated. Yeah.
We didn't stop playing the actual play, but that's just because we love D&D.
Yeah.
But talking about the actual play, there's something that we want to talk about today.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So now we're filming this on Friday and we're streaming tonight. So look, I don't want to make any assumptions, but the last time we did crowdfunding on Ko-fi for something, I don't want to say that y'all are absolutely feral and you maybe smash the goal within like 10 minutes. Yeah. So there is hey, look, nothing's impossible. There's a chance that might have happened by the time you see this.
And we never want to get to the point where we just assume. So we're going to mention this now because we are recording it well before stream tonight.
Exactly.
But we have obviously started an actual play. We film our games in this set.
It is the Ascension of Farador. You can find it on this YouTube channel.
And we pull a curtain across this room. And when we do, when we have all of the lights on and all of the microphones on and all the cameras on, the TV on, and there's 5 of us playing D&D in this room, it gets almost unbearably hot in here.
And again, we're in UK. Houses are not built to withstand the heat.
We don't have any air conditioning units built into any houses.
We're going into summer and listen.
When we're in it right now.
I know. Well, I'd say we're not even fully in summer yet.
Oh, we are.
Oh my gosh, you can tell. And it's been, I'm being so for real unbearable for not just us, for everyone in this room.
If you look
to film in
really closely, when on this Thursday coming up, if you look really closely at me during the fight scene that we have, I am dripping with sweat because it is so hot.
It gets so hot. So all of that to say,
this is a very roundabout way of saying down below there is a Ko-fi towards an AC unit that we're going to use to cool this room down.
Yes. We've taken a look at all the AC units. I think it's about £180, give or take, the one that we're actually looking at. And we've decided that the goal for this fundraising is we're going to do a Ghastly Gang one shot.
We're going to do, for any of those of you who do really enjoy Farador, you'll know that there was a group that joined with our party called the Ghastly Gang.
They were ghost hunters.
Who are a group of ghost hunters who have now gone full-time ghost hunting.
Yeah.
And if we do meet the fundraising for the AC unit, we will give something back to you in a one-shot of the Ghastly Gang.
Everyone's super down for it as well.
Everyone's down for it.
I wasn't sure how much convincing it was going to take, but everyone seems super down for it. So, yeah, if we meet the goal for the AC, first of all, we will live to see another day in this room.
Yeah.
and we'll do a Gassigang one shot.
We're going to do a Gassigang one shot.
And again, I have absolutely no idea at time of filming how... I have no idea.
How it's going to go tonight on stream.
But the link to the Ko-fi is down in the description. Thank you so much in advance to anyone who has supported, anyone even considering supporting. I seriously mean it.
Yeah.
Even just watching and being here is supporting us enough. So thank you so very much.
And if you do click the link down below and the AC unit is funded, just know that we do have a couple of extra decorations that we are going to be adding to the set.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to be hoping to getting some ivy like garlands put above there.
Yeah. I've got some thoughts.
So if it is funded, but you still do want to give, just know that will be used to add to the set anyway.
Yes,
so thank you so much.
Absolutely. Everything that goes to the Ko-fi will go towards, unless specified otherwise, will go towards the upkeep of the Ascension of Faradol.
Yes.
Indeed. So thank you so much. Gosh, so look, I'm a little bit dressed up this episode. I'm fully aware of that. You're probably never going to see me look like this ever again. It's because
you look basically the exact same. You've just got a flower crown on.
Sure, you know what? True. I have put a t-shirt on since because when I turn the camera on, this thing is so see-through. It's actually scary. But I was taking some photos and I was filming some content. I hope for some of my book content coming up. I have made separate accounts for myself on all social medias, but I'm going to be mainly on TikTok and Instagram under the handle Chapter 1 Mags. And it's just going to document my book journey as I'm going through learning reading at the age of 31. The first time in my adult life I've read. I thought it would be really interesting to take you through the infancy of...
Not learning how to read.
No. I can read.
That very much sounded... Just? You read everything out.
No, I can read. But my actual, enjoying reading.
Yes.
I used to read loads when I was younger, and I just fell out of it into my adolescence and never into my adulthood. So it's something I'm relearning, something I'm really enjoying. And if that sounds interesting to you, there's going to be a lot of talking about what it means to kind of curate a taste and what it means to actually... I don't even really know. It's going to be me asking for a lot of suggestions a lot of the time, I reckon.
And giving your opinions on the books that you've read.
Exactly. The very few I've read so far.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You got to start somewhere.
Hopefully more into the future. Yeah. So, yes, that is Chapter 1 Mags on predominantly TikTok and Instagram. What else? God, we've yapped a little bit. We have yapped a little bit here.
I think that's good, to be fair.
Well, thank you so much again for all of the love you've shown us. And shall we get into it?
Yes, let's do it. Thank you so much to all our patrons and YouTube members.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
Gain exclusive access either on Patreon or become a channel member here on YouTube for perks like channel badges and emotes on YouTube.
You get 2 extra and exclusive monthly live streams, including a roundtable with a cast of our D&D actual play, The Ascension of Faradol, for all of your burning questions.
As well as an intimate D&D advice live stream where we can answer your D&D questions in depth and one-on-one.
If you would like to support us directly and gain access to these perks, check the link in the description to go to our Patreon or simply click the join button here on YouTube.
Thank you.
So,
what have you got for us today?
The title of today's video is a Reddit post that says, at what point do you tell your entire table, I don't want to run a game for you anymore? And I think this whole episode is going to focus on when do you decide it's time to walk away, specifically as the DM?
As the dungeon master, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think there's many reasons for getting to this point. There's reasons because your table are the worst. Yeah.
Which, hey, look, I don't want to say that the example in this story as the table are some of the worst.
Really?
But maybe.
Because it can be things like that. It can be like, I hate running a game for you specifically. It can be, I hate running a game. Yeah. And I thought I was going to enjoy being a dungeon master, but I actually despise it.
Yeah.
It can be like, I got a new job and I just can't keep up with this anymore.
Yeah, it could be I'm simply burnt out.
External factors, yeah. There's so many reasons to actually end up walking away from a table.
Yeah, totally.
So I want to hear what OP said.
Totally. Well, the story goes. So I generally DM in a meetup group every Saturday where I normally have a few returning players and the odd drop-in. This weekend was a nightmare. It was the constant, interruptions from the players over rules. For example, fighting a big flaming troll that's wreathed in fire who got HP back at the start of its round. But I hit it with acid damage, it shouldn't recover HP. This is not a normal troll. It's covered in fire, for one thing. What tipped me over the edge was one person mithering over a magical effect not applying to one of the additional monsters. I pointed out that there are a lot of moving parts. They can always just remind me if I forget, to which he rolled his eyes. At that point, I politely inquired if they would like to DM for themselves. I knocked 90% of the monster's hit points off for him. I let the players win. I packed my stuff up and I fucked off. Honestly, this has been coming for a while and I'm severely doubting I will ever go back, which is a shame as I used to quite enjoy playing there. However, there are other groups out there, but for now, I'm going to put away my dice and just enjoy my summer. Thank you for listening to my moaning. I realize this is a bit of a rant and I'm at work, so it'd also be maybe a bit disjointed. But hey, look, I think I completely understand having a rant, but I think that's a very, very, very justified rant, right?
It's a super valid rant.
Yeah.
I do like, just to get into the vileness of this story in particular, it's like we all know trolls. We get that fire does things to them. So when a troll turns up and it's covered in fire, your brain should probably instantly go, okay, this isn't going to work as normal.
But I mean, even then, even if not, you can't expect everyone to understand the mechanics of a troll.
No.
But then,
this person clearly thought they did.
But even then, at any point in which you're going, actually. Like, and the thing is, there is a big difference between saying, just checking the rules. There's a huge difference.
Saying, when you hit it with the acid damage, saying the words, does it look like it doesn't generate any more hit points?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, just ask.
Yeah.
Don't assume. Hey, look. We all know what assuming does.
Go on, tell him.
It makes an ass out of you and me.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Because you sat there and gone, well, I've hit it with the Melf's acid arrow, so I'm just going to wait for the Dungeon Master to tell me that it doesn't regenerate any hit points. And then the Dungeon Master at the top of the turn goes, it generates this many hit points. And then you go, actually, I hit it with acid damage, so it doesn't regenerate in hit points. And then the Dungeon Master has to stop the game and then say to you,
look.
And the thing is, the way to get rid of this, but the thing is, when you've got drop-ins, when you've got people who don't play in your game all the time, having to say at the beginning of every session is probably still a good thing to do, but you probably maybe sometimes forget, is just so you know, you might see some monsters that you recognize, but I don't run them in the exact same way that the book tells you to. Yeah. I change resistances, I change damage types, totally. I change attacks, I change HP, I change anything that I need to make sure this monster is going to be a good and entertaining fight for all of us. Yep. I'm going to do. So if something doesn't work exactly like you expect it does, don't be surprised.
But man, having to say that for returning players at the top of every session is exhausting, and no DM should be having to do that extra work because players can't get a grip.
Can't sort it out. In my
humble opinion. And then the other player who sat there and was upset and
rolled their eyes.
Yeah, who was upset that it didn't apply. And it sounds like from OP's perspective, they just forgot to add it to the other thing because the DM has a lot of moving plates.
So many moving plates.
And for the DM to say, hey, you can just remind me, for that player to sit there and roll their eyes like that's so disrespectful.
That's so disrespectful. It's like you sit there with your character sheet and wait for your go.
Yeah, totally.
The Dungeon Master has basically a character sheet for every single enemy on that battlefield. They're having to organize individual HPs for them, individual attack bonuses, individual save modifiers, individual attack modifiers, damage modifiers, special attacks and everything like that. Then on top of that, every single time it moves to somebody else's turn, the Dungeon Master's involved in that turn.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, what are you doing with your go? You want to move over here? Okay, and you want to make an attack at this guy? Okay, just remember this guy's got fire resistance. Oh, yeah. It's like, you're just sat there waiting for your turn to come around. You should be paying attention, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But you're sat there waiting for your turn to come around. So for you to roll your eyes at being like, hey, if I forget something...
Yeah, I know. It's so rude and so disrespectful.
Unbelievably rude. It's crazy.
So look, in this instance, 100... What inspires the DM to come back to a table? And I think this speaks so strongly to me because we've actually witnessed a situation like this, IRL, like in a game we played where a player just absolutely
made the Dungeon Master's life a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. Just for the sake of being a power player.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say being a power player because you can be a power player and still respect your Dungeon Master.
Still be a decent person to be around.
And be a joy to be around.
At a table.
Absolutely. But it's the... it's player versus DM, and it's outsmarting the DM and trying to overpower the DM. And it's so frustrating for everyone involved. I can't even imagine the DM.
It's like when a dungeon master says something and they maybe word it in a specific way, and you hold on to that wording till your go.
Yes.
And you go, so dungeon master, you said this. It's just like, you're working against me.
Yeah.
You're not working with me. It's like, I want you to succeed as a player.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm putting this combat in front of you.
At least you should. And there are DMs who don't.
Which I don't think then that you should be a dungeon master, in my humble opinion.
I agree.
I think that, in 95% of circumstances, you're going to get through the fight probably without any deaths.
Yeah.
You might have somebody go down here and there.
Yeah.
But, which is basically the dungeon master saying, hey, I'm going to put a fight in front of you and you're going to win.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the dungeon master being on your side.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
the dungeon master presenting you a challenge.
And at least it should be that way.
Yeah, and then you figuring it out and getting through it and stuff like that and maybe getting some loot. It's like the dungeon master should be on your side.
Yeah.
So when is the right time to step away? And here is, you can, like I said earlier, it could be burnout. It could be because you don't like DMing. It could be that you don't like DMing for the people at your table.
Yeah, there's infinite reasons.
There's so many reasons.
Yeah, that's so personal to everyone.
But I genuinely believe that you can boil it down to one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
And it is when you're not having fun.
I completely agree. Yeah, and that can look different in so many ways. Not having fun could be waking up and dreading it.
Yeah.
Not having fun could be having the conditions perfect to plan your session. You sit down and you go,
I can't be bothered to do this.
I can't think of anything worse.
I can't physically bring myself to write anything down.
Yeah, totally. Not having fun could be you're sat there at the table and nothing's sparking joy for you. It can look so different in so many ways. But I agree. I think it does boil down to if you sit and think and you go, am I still enjoying this?
Yeah. And the thing is, there's a number of things that you can do before you do, like, give up.
Completely.
One thing for, like, when it comes to prep, I think one thing for dungeon masters that is a really big thing is, I think a lot of people get prep burnout because they prep too much. And now there is no such thing as too much prep. There is no such thing as too little prep.
Definitely.
But I think what you need to do is basically, you need so this is the scale. Here is the most prep ever, and here is zero prep at all.
Yeah.
You need to find somewhere on this line
that works for you.
Yeah. Like I've always said to me, I basically don't prep anything for my games, but names, places, like names of places and combats.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get into the game. I think there's a lot of people who've seen the Segor clip.
Yeah.
When Matthew just asks every NPC he ever meets a name, and I just have to make it up. But like prominent NPC names, prominent place names, and combats, they're things that I need to plan.
Yeah.
Because I want to have them ready for when you ask those questions, or for when we get into a combat. I can't just magic a battle map up off the net because I use Tailspire. I use a VTT to play on. So it's finding a balance somewhere of what do and don't you need to plan, because a lot of people just get DM burnout because they plan too much or they plan too little. They get stressed out. They don't feel happy when they turn up to the session because they're like
totally
worried or they're burnt out by the time they get there. So that's one thing that you can try before, handing in the towel.
And there's so many ways to experiment with what your prepping style is. One thing we always recommend is go into a session doing what you would consider the bare minimum. That looks so different to everyone.
Yeah.
The bare minimum for Jack is literally place names, NPC names, battle map. I would say.
That's all I prep for my sessions.
Now, that could absolutely not be minimum for you. You could need more. You could actually need less.
Yeah.
But I would say go into a session with a minimum prep that's comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your players at the start of the session, hey, look, I'm getting
trying
burnt
something
out with
different
planning.
today,
I'm trying something different. I'm cutting back to see how I feel. So just bear with me. You may notice a difference. You might not. And then run that session with that minimum prep. And at the end of it, especially once you've let people know, I promise you they will give you grace. See how you feel.
Yeah, how do you feel? Like,
see how you feel.
Do you feel better because you didn't spend the entire week stressing about the game?
Yeah.
You just said, here's the people we're going to meet. Here's the place they're going to be. Here's the battle map. Done. I'm done in 10 minutes. I'm done in 15 minutes or something like that. And then I just get to look forward to hanging out with my friends. That's something I would do if you're burnt out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you're burnt out into the sense of like, I actually love planning. I know exactly how much I need to plan. I'm a seasoned dungeon master, but I'm just like, I've got a new job. Like, my job's asking a lot of me. I've just had a kid.
Yeah, life burnout.
I've got into a new relationship. I'm doing something else. I'm playing sports on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm a caretaker for someone.
I'm a caretaker for somebody. If these are the things that is making you not enjoy the game, just know that you don't have to play every week.
Absolutely.
You don't have to play every other week. You could play every 3 weeks. You could have a week off. You could play once a month. It's like, don't give up the game forever because you feel like you're locked into this structure and my players are going to be upset because we don't play every week.
Absolutely.
Your players would be more upset if they never get to play D&D with you ever again. Take a break.
Take a break.
Oh my gosh.
God,
take a break.
Take a break. 100%. And hey, look, one thing that we always say here, communication is absolutely key with anything like this. If you tell your players, it's like I said literally 2 minutes ago, if you tell your players, hey, I need a break. I'm burnt out. There's things going on. You don't have to explain yourself. If you simply say, can we take X amount of time off, whatever your schedule is, I promise you, your friends will be understanding.
100%.
They will want what's best for you because life does come before D&D.
Yeah, of course it does. Because, if you're not happy in your life, you won't be happy at D&D no matter what. It could be the only thing that makes you happy, but it ends up actually not even doing that because you're not treating yourself right to allow yourself to enjoy the time that you have at D&D. It's like, you're so stressed that you turn to D&D and it doesn't actually relieve any stress at all because you're so stressed. It's just like,
exactly.
You need to just get that sorted
there's many times
before you turn
where
up to D&D.
DMing can add to your stress if you're already stressed out
100%.
outside. Because, hey, look, the DMing again, you are the head of the table. You're the person who you don't necessarily move this. Well, no, you do. You move the story along, I would say, with the help of your players. So it's a lot of responsibility. And if you're feeling that crunch outside, it's very normal to feel it inside and to need to take a break.
And another one, I think a lot of people just need to hear this is Dungeon Mastering is not for everyone. Yeah. Like, it's just not. Yeah. It wasn't for you.
No, it wasn't.
It's not for Abby.
No.
Matthew likes doing one-shots. Yeah. I think I am genuinely the only person who enjoys, our table enjoys sitting in that seat and being the Dungeon Master every week.
I completely agree. Yeah, I love it. Totally agree.
And, you have to love it because, it can get a lot sometimes and you can be thinking about it a lot. Yeah. And there is a amount of pressure on you that isn't on the players as much. So, like, you have to enjoy doing it because if you don't enjoy doing it, it's not for you. I'll just be completely honest. So,
because you're a player too, you have to remember.
Yeah, you are.
You're also playing a game, and we play games to have fun. And if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be playing the game.
No, you shouldn't be. You should 100% have fun. So just know that. Another thing is, if you're just not enjoying being a Dungeon Master,
it doesn't
mean that you're never going to find another Dungeon Master.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that somebody else at your table can't try and take up the seat.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So just like, if you're not enjoying it, let people know and step down. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It is so okay to step away from dungeon mastering. And again, there's kind of this rhetoric online that everyone should try DMing once. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if you have a desire to do it, absolutely. But don't feel like you have to. That was kind of what I fell for. Yeah. I was like, I have to try it because that's just the hierarchy of how it goes. You start as a player, then you move up to being a DM, and that's kind of your D&D career. But that's simply not the case. I hated it. I couldn't handle, for many reasons, many different aspects of it. And I think it boils down to, I enjoy being a player because I enjoy being embroiled in the mystery. Yeah. I like unraveling things as opposed to being the person setting the scene.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy seeing behind the curtain.
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't enjoy being in charge of the mystery and how it unfolds.
Totally.
And like, that's the thing. It's like, I agree with you. I think that there is this big rhetoric of everyone should try DMing. I think that is partially true if there is a desire to try.
Yeah, and I think that comes from maybe understanding the actual work that goes into being a dungeon master. I think a lot of the times it's not said out of the love of the game. Yeah, I don't think it's said out of the love of being like, you could find this amazing fulfillment in being a dungeon master. I think a lot of times it's said being like, Every player should sit in the dungeon master's shoes to see how
you can know my pain.
Yeah, I do. I think that is a lot of the rhetoric, honestly. And just know you don't have to. And like you mentioned, as Matthew, he has run a full-time campaign for us, which spanned nearly 2 years. And then he moved on to doing one-shots for us, and he preferred doing the one-shots.
Yeah, he prefers just running a one-shot every now and then.
And that does not make you any less of a DM than your counterpart DMs who run full-term campaigns. The same as DMs who run Homebrew World versus modules.
Nobody doesn't. If you sit in that seat and you dungeon master to any capacity, doesn't make you any less of a dungeon master than anybody else.
Absolutely
and
not.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think that like when it comes to this whole like everyone should be, I think you should, if you've got a genuine desire to try,
totally.
give it a go, but don't be upset if it's not for you.
Yeah,
okay,
I agree.
And
then there's problem players.
Then there's this shit.
Then there's this. Then there's this shit.
And I think honestly, for OP definitely would. I don't know OP, and I'm just stabbing in the dark here at the situation that we've been given. OP sounds like they need a consistent table.
Yeah, a consistent table of players who respect them.
A consistent table of players who respect them, understand the rules, understand what they're going for, understand that they won't run monsters as cannon, and not to be upset if something doesn't work, and not be upset if they you have to remind the Dungeon Master of something. Jesus Christ, the amount of times that I've got plates spinning in every direction, and I'm trying to do all of this, and then somebody goes, oh, by the way, there's this much damage because I missed and I've got the Grazer's Feet, and I'm like, thank you for letting me know. It's like, that's not on me to remember everything.
No, it's not.
We are all playing together. It's a collaborative storytelling game. So when we're collaborating in a combat, it is a group effort. We're playing on opposite sides. Like, I'm playing the enemy, but we're all trying to get to the same end goal of finishing this combat.
Yeah, totally.
So,
and it's problem player it's a huge net, right?
Massive net,
it's
wide
a
net.
massive net. But I guess you could boil it down to anyone who is creating unnecessary friction with ill intent, I would say.
I like it.
Like, I think
that's a really good catch-all.
That's how you could boil them down to. And if you have a problem player, again, communicate with them. They might not realize how fucking annoying this shit is.
You can't change your behavior if you don't know there's a problem.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Communicating is the first step.
And some people, hey, trust me, some people do this shit out of malice.
Yeah, they do, just to be a fucking nightmare.
Just because they're nightmares. But someone might not realize that. Someone who maybe takes rules as written very seriously might not realize this. Have the conversation first. Do not be afraid. And conversation is not confrontation.
Just because you're pulling somebody up about bad behavior doesn't mean it's like it has to be an argument. It can just be a small conversation.
You can do it in a respectful, kind, neutral way. And I promise you, after you have the conversation, no matter what the outcome, there will be an outcome. And that, and I think that's the purgatory you sit in with a problem player, is there isn't a resolution or an outcome either way, right?
And I'm gonna say the taboo thing that you shouldn't say as online content creators about D&D giving out advice is, if you talk to your problem player and they continue to be a problem to the point where you don't want a dungeon master at all anymore, it is okay to kick them out of your game.
God, 100%. Yeah? I cannot stress that enough. 100%.
If you've got 5 players at your table and you love it, but one person makes it difficult every single week, and you communicate to them, and it doesn't have to be confrontation like Margaret said, you communicate to them very effectively the problems that you're having with them and why they're making it bad for you and why they're making you not want to play anymore, and they don't change their behavior,
totally
ruining everyone's time because of that one player is unfair on everyone. That player needs to then leave the game because they've been warned, they've been told, they've been communicated to, and they haven't done anything about it. So it's just like,
I would say give them all the information, let them make their choice, and then their choice is their choice. Yeah. But I seriously mean it when I say 95% of these issues can get solved by having a clear conversation about it. And
most of the time, you're like, this will never get solved, they're so bad. But we've had it so many times. We've done so much advice on this podcast.
So many times.
We've done so much advice in our streams on Twitch.
Where we've had absolutely fantastic outcomes where people immediately apologize. They either don't realize, they do realize, and they apologize. And everything gets solved. I promise you.
It's not that then there's never a problem ever again.
Of course
for the immediate future, like, that problem is solved and everyone goes back to having a good time at D&D.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about. And I think really the last one is, your table might not be the right table for you. Yeah. That doesn't mean you're a bad dungeon master. Nope. That doesn't mean you won't find your table. But just be aware, especially your first table might not be your forever table.
Yeah, it's like you want to run a serious game. You want to run a serious game like the Ascension of Faradar. If you watch ours, I run a very serious game. Yeah, we have loads of fun and we fuck around and stuff like that.
The source material is very serious.
But the source material is very serious. Yeah. And you give out a world primer to your players, and it's really serious, and it's really like steeped in this like deep, dark, rich fantasy. And then somebody turns up with Flomble Gomble, and you're like, okay, that's maybe not the right character to play at my game. It's like you can do everything right, but people just want different things from D&D.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean you're a bad dungeon master. Doesn't mean that they're a bad player. They just do not fit your game.
Totally. And well, absolutely.
Flumble Gomble.
Flumble Gomble goes hard.
Next NPC name, by the way. Yeah. I'm ripping Flumble Gomble. I'm gonna rip 2 goblin twins.
Flumble and Gomble.
Flumble and Gomble.
What's their last name? Flimble.
No, Flumble second name is Gomble, and Gomble second name is Flumble.
Nice. So Flumble Gomble and Gomble Flumble.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's it. That's a wrap. Goodbye.
That is it.
That's a wrap.
So yeah, I think ultimately, you can boil everything that we've said down there. And like I said at the beginning, are you having fun?
Absolutely, I agree.
All of those things can come back to, but am I having fun?
Yeah, completely. And I think it goes without saying, these are simply just examples, and there's infinite ways that you could be feeling like you want to step away from a table. And I just want you to know that you're valid in feeling what you're feeling.
What you're feeling, yeah.
Like everyone, it's so personal to everyone. Dungeon mastering, playing D&D, it's all so personal.
And you can try and do all of those fixes we said there and still not be having fun. And then, stepping away is the right moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. You could step away forever if you wanted to. You could step away temporarily. Yeah. You could step away for 1 week and go, I'm ready to go back. But the most important thing is recognizing that it's okay to step away. You're not disappointing anyone.
Nope.
Your players, if they're your friends, I completely recognize that not everyone who plays D&D with each other are necessarily IRL friends, but they should at the very least respect you. And it's okay for your players to be sad that maybe a game is ending, going on hiatus, but they should never, ever make you feel bad for doing it.
Nope.
Because you have to take care of yourself.
You do.
And there's no point in playing a game if you're not having fun, simply put.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And I hope that helps. I hope even if just one person listening to this who is feeling any combination of those feelings,
downtrodden, stressed out,
just
for whatever reason not having fun anymore.
Totally.
The game's not going anywhere.
No.
Just remember that. The game's gonna be there no matter how long you step away for. The game's gonna be there if you aren't a dungeon master anymore. The game's gonna be there if you have to kick a problem player out. The game's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
All right?
Yeah. And if you are looking for someone to play D&D with, we have a big Discord server.
We do,
There's games that go up, I would say semi-regularly. There's a whole bunch of players. Look, when Dungeon Masters come in and they put a game up, they normally go quite quickly.
They go instantly.
Yeah, they go quite quickly.
I would say pretty instantly they go.
But there is a big community over on our Discord. Our community is the kindest, most welcoming, sweetest community ever. And please join our Discord if you would like to be part of that. We stream 4 times a week sometimes.
Yeah, we do a lot of advice on there.
Yeah, we do a lot of D&D advice. We're currently playing through Baldur's Gate. We would love to have you. We also have our Patreon streams where we do 2 streams a month. We do one for the Ascension of Faradar, our actual play where we get our friends on and we chat about the game. And we also do personalized D&D advice ones as well.
Yeah.
So
that's a great way to support the channel. If you do want to consider becoming a patron or a YouTube channel member, click the join button down below. The Patreon link is in the description. Thank you so much. Anything else? Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Thanks so much for the love that you show in these short videos.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We're streaming now, actually.
Come and join us
we're streaming
on
now.
Twitch.
We'll be playing Baldur's Gate right now.
On Twitch
we're in Act 3. So
and it's pretty poggers right now.
I don't think it's pretty poggers. We're at Cazador's place right now, I think.
We sure are.
So come on over. We'd love to have you.
Thank you so much for being here. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you. We have been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Monday.
Bye. And once again, another huge thank you to our patrons and our YouTube members, and a huge shout out to our entity tiers.
Hoops.
Ariel.
Tula.
Runarian.
Arkham Labs Cosplayer.
Maddie.
Luna.
Teddysaurus.
Caspian.
J-Spot TX.
Ultrafail.
Dallin M.
Sleepy.
Joe Dragonlord 2.
Alistar.
Lawkeeper Society.
Ricky B.
Catherine.
Fowskin.
Azuriel.
Panda Queen Plays.
Xylo Boy.
Lucas Iapetus.
Luna River.
Crestomancy.
The Tacos Are Here.
Hairy Godfather.
Rainanana.
Scrimbles.
CJ Chantel 1313.
Keplin 1000.
Pretend It's You Ace.
Leaxel.
Dana.
Captain Hades.
Sloby 1.
Amelia A.
Rebecca K.
Banoffee Spy.
Tears of the Sun.
BH.
Crumley.
Dink Twin.
Light of Hearts.
Nathan W.
Timbo.
Melosaurus Rex.
The Nerdy Dreamer.
Stephen R.
Simple Gin.
Thank you all so much for the support. You have no idea how much it helps.
And if you too would like to become a patron or a channel member here on YouTube, click the link in the description or the join button down below.